Thanks so much, Pete and Sarah. And it's great to be here. We've got quite a lot of people who focus on neurodiversity, and I'm definitely autistic, ADHD, and introvert. And so networking is really hard for me, but this is one of my favorite networking groups that I always feel like I can be my absolute self and belong. This is really an honor to come and talk here today. So unfortunately for all of you, I was in a breakout room with a question about marketing. So I've done my speech. The people in my group got it. We're done. So it's all over. But I want to talk today about my passion is niching. And I know that a lot of you just cringe when you hear the word. And I actually had a client found me on LinkedIn, came and met with me, and his first words to me were, "I don't believe in this niching malarkey," which was wonderful because that's what I talk about. So it's a little interesting conversation to how do we work together. But I think the way I do niching is a little bit different. So the definition of niching is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. That's all it is. And a lot of people get stuck in, I'm going to turn business away. It means I don't work with certain people. It never says that. There's no definition that says niching means you're rejecting anybody. So my passion comes from the name of my podcast, and the talk today is Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. And the reason for that is I am an absolute advocate for not wasting time or money. Right? I am just, the waste of time and money just gives me pains all over. I just don't want to do it. So when you try, and I see businesses wave their steak around, and I'm just using steak as an analogy, and there's a whole lot of giraffes in a field, and I don't know why it's giraffes. It's my South African heritage that I just love giraffes. But what a waste of time. They are never, ever going to eat it. Like, you're just absolutely wasting your time. So if you just get that concept, then it's really interesting and easy to understand why it's much better to go find a field of lions, and you don't even have to work. You just stand there and wave it, and they're going to come running at you. And as a business, doesn't that sound like a much easier place to be? To just stand still, hold your product in the air, and people come running at you, rather than you chasing them, slapping them around the face, doing the dance, TikToks, and all this kind of stuff, and they still won't buy your stuff. That's really the core principle of where I come from, is finding the lions that actually want what you have, so they don't have to work hard. The three things I want to talk about today, which will make it easy for clients to come running to your door, and they're not going to be popular, but I'm South African, so I'm told I've got no tact, so this is the way it is. And you don't have to listen to me. This is the other thing. There's no rules here. You don't have to listen to me. And it actually all comes down to, and we spoke about this in my breakout room, is what is your measure of success? Because all marketing needs to be, what do you want to achieve? If you're trying to achieve brand awareness, you're going to have a completely different strategy to someone who's trying to achieve sales. Now, in my brain, we should all be trying to achieve sales, because why else are we in business? Like, we need money at the end of the day, right? But if everyone knows your name, but no one gives you money, okay, maybe some people like that. I think we actually need someone to pay us at the end of the day. So that's really where I'm coming from, is the measure for me is revenue. Okay, so that's just to position what this talk is about. So the first thing I want to share about, and there were some psychologists in the room, which is also interesting. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm incredibly nosy and curious. And so I do study human behavior quite a lot. And so the first thing for me is nobody cares. Okay, everyone is inherently selfish. We all just thinking about what's in it for me. Okay, so everyone's getting their backs up. No, we all save the animals, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yes, that's true. We work hard to try and be kind, and we're taught by society that those are things. But your inherent self and the way your brain is programmed, think from caveman days where all you had to do was keep yourself safe. Your brain is programmed to automatically filter out stuff that are not of interest to you. Okay, it's like a gatekeeper. You've got an inbuilt personal gatekeeper that's working. And so if we think about all of these things, and if you read psychology books, and they're all wonderful, but I read them from a marketing perspective. So yes, they're interesting for me. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I see that. But I actually turn it outwards to say, oh, what does that mean for my target audience? And there's a wonderful book, something about a monkey. I've got it somewhere, I'll find it. But it's, or a gorilla, but it's your brain, you've got this auto filter that's basically saying, oh, she's not interested. And it doesn't even let the message in, okay? And the example I always give is when I moved into the village. I used to live in London, I moved into a village, and I need a little run around because parking is not my favorite thing. So I wanted a small compact car that I could park without worrying that I'm going to bash anybody. And so my husband said, oh, you've always wanted a Mini Cooper. Why don't you just get one? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So went to the mini shop, picked my little Mini Cooper, came home with it, and suddenly realized everyone in my village has a Mini Cooper. Like, literally, it was everywhere. And I'm like, okay, logic tells me that not everyone in my little village, which Fiona and I actually lived in the same village, it's not a big village, it's a little village. And I know that not everyone in the village drove to the mini shop at the same day as me and bought a mini to come home. So therefore, those minis were always there. But my brain had said not of interest to Erica. So I just hadn't factored it, right? And now when I brought my little mini home, my brain goes, oh, you're interested in minis. And so suddenly it's opening that door. And suddenly my brain's going, oh, there's a mini, there's a mini, there's a mini. And for now, I can recognize a mini from miles away. And I don't even know cars. But this is my brain. It's saying, oh, she loves these cars. We should let her know when there's one around. So this is what's happening to your audience's brain, your client's brain. So if your message is not getting through their gatekeeper, you're wasting your time. So the way I work on this is services there to my products, okay, mostly in the naughty stores, but most of us are solving pains, right? Some sort of pain. Now you can have short-term immediate pains, which I call the pain in the foot, a nail in the foot. Okay, that's if you think about someone, they're hopping around, they're like, oh, what's happening now? And then you've got pebble in the shoe pains, which are, yeah, I know it's there. I'm going to keep hobbling along. It's on my list to do. I'll do it. Sadly, most people solve people in the shoe pains. My services are people in the shoe pain. Okay, people, oh, I need some marketing help. I can't afford it this month. Yes, oh, I know I'll get there. It's that kind of stuff. So most of us are in the pebble in the shoe situation. Some of us are really lucky to have nail in the foot situations. And the reason those are lucky is your marketing message is different. Now, the reason you need to understand that is because your marketing message is different, where you market is different, your clients is different. So this is how I niche. I niche by pain point, right? So it's really to say, what is the pain I'm solving? Now, one product could be solving many. Okay, so that's absolutely easy to do. But it's about understanding that and making sure you're appropriate in how you message. A dentist, so this is an example, there's no dentists in the room, so I won't hurt anyone's feelings. But if you think about it, a dentist solves nail in the foot, okay? Toothache, oh my goodness, or crown fell off, or something urgent, I need help now. Now, most people with that pain are going to go dentist near me, okay? So that means for your marketing, you got to be up when it says dentist near me, okay? How do you make sure you're there? They're going to ask a friend, so referrals. They're going to, like, where are they going to look for, I need a dentist now? They're probably not going to price shop. If you're hopping around in pain and you can hardly speak and your face is this size, you're probably not going to price shop. You're not going to go, oh, you're 50 pounds. Let me find another dentist who's 45 pounds, whatever. You're going to go with whoever's got space now. And if you find someone and they go, oh, I can see you next week, you're going to go, okay, hang up, phone the next one. Can you see me now? So you're going to go with urgency and you're going to go with severity, and the nature of that pain is going to dictate how fast that client works. So if you solve that kind of a pain, if you're a dentist and you want to solve those kind of emergency ones because you can charge double, they probably won't notice, then you can, that's a different marketing strategy. But the other part that dentists solve is the regular. Think the cleanups, the annual checkups for the kids to make sure all the sweets they eat haven't started causing damage. So those annual checkups, that's more pebble in the shoe. If you're like me, I schedule that for the summer holidays. Like it's on my list. Eye checks, optician, dentist, those are the things. Sorry, kids, to spoil your summer holidays, but we're going to get those stuff done because trying to manage it during school days is just like a nightmare, right? They can never see you after school. It has to be like during school. So that's a pebble in the shoe. It's not that urgent. I'm probably going to shop around, look for the NHS one. I want one who's got convenient time slots, like 8 in the morning. No, the kids sleep till 10, or I want them to sleep till 10 so that they don't bother me so late. So even be you're going to think about different things. We talk about how good they are with kids, area to entertain your kids while we're waiting, our dentist is lovely and won't scare your children today. Whatever that message is, are you targeting parents? Are you targeting people with kids? You've got to talk differently. So when I work with clients, we talk about that. That's a lot of the stuff we focus on is what is the pain you solve? And is it nail in the foot? Is it pebble in the shoe? And do you have multiples? And then who are those people that want that service? And then the reason I suggest you focus is because unless you got lots of money like Richard Branson or someone, you can obviously spend your money on all of those. But the reason for focus is just because that saves you money, right? If you know you want to target, you're a dentist and you want to target parents with kids during the summer holidays who want to get their kids' teeth checked out, great. You're going to focus on that message. Maybe you go into the school, the last school newsletter before they close. Maybe you go, so where you target is going to be specific. How you speak to them is going to be specific. And where you go is going to be specific. But then maybe after the summer holidays, you change. And now you want the nail in the foot guys. Do you have an emergency? You're going to change your marketing strategy. So it's not about permanency. You're not going to do the same message for years and years. It's about understanding who you want at a certain point in time, what that pain is, and making sure your message and your place is appropriate. Does that make sense? So I'm not a fan of the avatar either, sorry. So you can, if that helps you to draw a person and say it's a man and he's 25 years old and he works with a briefcase and all that kind of stuff, fabulous. If it helps you, do that, right? But you don't have to do that. I don't do that. Sometimes I use the drawing of a person with brands because it helps me understand where a team is in understanding where their brand positioning is. So I can use it as a tool, but it's not for me, that's not niching for me. That's not the be all. It's rather understanding what's the common pain point that your target is experiencing. So I know Gail shook her head when I spoke niching earlier. Sorry to pick on you, Gail, but you spoke about your pain points in your intro. You said helping businesses who don't have the marketing support. There's your pain point. You've got it. That's your niche. You have one, even though you don't like the word niche. You actually have a niche, in my words. Maybe you don't have an avatar of a person, but you still have a niche. So the third point that I want to just talk about is that when you have a niche, so whatever you choose, so we spoke about giraffes don't eat steak, okay? So if you have steak, don't go after giraffe. But you can, because if you want to sell to the giraffe to buy for his lion friend, okay? So if that's your niche, if you're like, I'm going to find all these giraffes because I know they've got lots of lion friends, and they want to say to the lion, eat the steak so you don't eat me. I don't know, whatever that conversation is. But then you can message to the giraffe, but can you see it's a different message? You're not going to say, oh, juicy steak, it's lovely. You're going to say, do you know that your friend the lion will prefer steak to your leg? So if you buy the steak, you just need to circle yourself with it and the lion will eat you. Safety mechanism. So you sell steak as a safety mechanism. So you could absolutely sell to anybody, but you need to understand what their pain is. Can you see? I've identified the giraffe's pain, and his pain is scared of being eaten by this lion. This is it. I've identified his pain, and now I'm going to message it appropriately to say, there we go, Mr. Giraffe. And a better example than a giraffe and a lion is chocolate, right? So I went to a talk as a keynote speaker at a talk, and I spoke about the fact that I don't like chocolate. And unfortunately, or fortunately, there was the chief chocolatier from Madagascar there. And he came and approached me at the tea break. And he was quite offended about why I don't like chocolate. It was like a whole big conversation. And I said to him, because your messaging is telling me chocolate is smooth and creamy and delicious. And with the Aero one, lots of bubbles. And there's a Cadbury's one, cup and a half of milk. I don't know, all those adverts about chocolate. And they all talk about the taste. Now, I don't like the taste of chocolate. I'm not allergic. I'm not lactose intolerant. I don't have any of those things. I don't like the taste. Okay, my kids think I'm crazy, my husband think I'm psycho, but it doesn't. I can't help it. I don't like the taste. So if you pitch me with how wonderful chocolate tastes, I'm out. But I've just told you, I've got a husband who loves chocolate. I've got kids who love chocolate. I've got friends who love chocolate. So how about pitching me how wonderful chocolate is as a gift? There's your pitch to me, right? If you want me to buy chocolate, you talk to me about chocolate is easy to transport. It comes in beautiful boxes. It's got lovely flavors. It's universally loved, except for you, Erica. Like, it's just, that's your pitch to me. And guess what? You're right. I do buy a lot of chocolate because I do have a lot of friends who love chocolate. Another example is licorice. My friend Leonie, who's on the call, absolutely loves licorice. I hate it. But guess what? Every time I go to a South Africa store, I buy licorice because I know my friend Leonie loves it. So I'm the best licorice customer at the Paddington SA store because every time I'm in Paddington, that's where I go and I buy licorice. But I don't eat it. But it's because my main point is I want to make my friend Leonie happy. So those are my 3 points today. I think I'm out of time, so I'll stop now. The first is be aware that nobody cares except about themselves. We're inherently selfish. So you need to get through that gatekeeper. You need to have a message that filters that gatekeeper. It's nothing to do with you. It's the way our brains are wired. The second is understanding the pain points is a great way to niche because your message is around the pain points. And again, it's completely different whether it's nail in the foot pain or pebble in the shoe pain. And then the third point is you can sell to anybody, but you need to really think about what do they want and how do I get their message to them. I know there'll be time for questions later. I think I'm on time, right? I hope that helped, and I hope that helped you think just a little bit. I do have a little workbook as well that I'll pop in the chat just for you to think through these things, and it really should help you craft your marketing message better.